From glowing lanterns to fierce lion, it's at Vietnam's Mid-Autumn Festival that the artistry of Vietnam comes to life. But behind each creation are inspiring stories of resilience and dedication. But how long can they keep this thing alive? Join us as we explore 2-century-old crafts that are central to this vibrant celebration: lion head making and lantern making. 5 days. That's how long it takes to transform bamboo and rattan into this. But the skill to make such a beautiful piece of art is learned over a lifetime of grueling, machineless work. It's this very dedication that now threatens the art's survival into the new century. In this video, we'll meet the artisans keeping this tradition alive and explore the process, how these beautiful lion heads come to be. Stay until the end to find out if a new generation of craftsmen are ready to carry on this unique cultural legacy into the 21st century. Lion dancing is a 3,000-year-old tradition. When you visit Vietnam around the times of special festivals like Mid-Autumn or the Lunar New Year, you're bound to find a few performances on the street. Here, in unassuming workshops like this one in Saigon, master craftsmen turn wooden sticks and papier-mâché into beautiful costumes. Right away as we walk in, we saw the owner and her worker hard at work, building and painting newly commissioned lion heads. In this age of mass production, it's almost shocking to see there's not a machine in sight. Every intricate detail of these lion heads, each weighing 3 to 5 kilograms, is painstakingly crafted by hand. But why do these artisans devote so much time and skill to crafting these particular creatures? To understand their drive, we need to journey back in time to the very origins of lion head dancing. Lion dancing as a performance art can be traced back to ancient China. The kilin, or kailan, is one within the quartet of mythical animals held as sacred in the belief of Vietnamese. This mythical beast is often described as having the antler of a deer, eyes of the devil, nose of a lion, ears of a dog, forehead of a camel, hooves of a horse, and tail of an ox. And its skin is a mix of colors, with a belly being a brilliant yellow. Legend has it that millennia ago, this was a man-eating monster that terrorizes the mortal realm. It wasn't until Buddha Maitreya, disguised as the earth god, tricked it into eating a miracle herb that it turned into a gentle, cabbage-eating animal. Besides having a change of diet, it would dance to entertain villagers as well. So, from terror, the lion turns into a protector that brings good fortune and prosperity wherever it goes. So, people believe that if the kilin dances in front of their house, they'd have a year of good luck afterward. This is why you'll find lion dance performances at special occasions like the first opening of a company. The main meaning is to bring luck, success, and a good start. For just as long as lion head dancing has been around, craftspeople like Mrs. Kim An and her workers have worked year after year to produce every part of the lion's costume for dance tropes. So, how exactly is a lion brought to life? First, we'd need to build a frame. This frame is woven from rattan and bamboo. Once that is done, layers of papier-mâché are applied to give the lion its shape. It's then left to dry in the sun. Once dried, the artist uses his skills to paint the lion head with color and draw intricate details. And like many handcrafts, there are odd little rituals that set one craftsperson from the next. The artist we talked with mentioned that in order to paint the beautiful patterns on the lion head, he needed a little push first.
Đó, giờ khi hút xong nè, mình mở cái nắp viết ra, mình nhúng màu vô. Cái tay mình rung rung như nè, mình vẽ ra được mấy cái nét nó mới ảo được.
That push just so happened to be Aztec tobacco. Usually, no lion head would have the same patterning as the other. It all depends on how the painting process goes, which will turn out totally different patterns. Finally, fur and other accessories are glued on.
Thì nếu mà thành phẩm luôn thì nếu mà con này thì mình sẽ rơi vào khoảng tầm 5 ngày là sẽ thành phẩm một con.
It all sounds like very hard work. And it is. It takes an apprentice craftsman several years before they can make a lion head as sophisticated as this one from start to finish. As difficult as they are to make, you might be wondering how much do these lion heads go for on the market.
Như con này nè, con này là size nhỏ dành cho mấy em thiếu nhi mới lớn. Thì con này tầm giá là 1,4 triệu. Đó. Như con này nè, tuy nó nhỏ hơn nè, nhưng mà giá của nó thì lại bằng với con này. Bởi vì công của nó là vẽ.
As for the larger, prettier ones, such as this beautiful sample, the owner of the shop got the answer for us.
Nó đủ giá hết đó, cũng như hàng đặt lông cừu thì nó mấy triệu một con.
While relatively lucrative, it's exactly because it's such a physically and mentally demanding work that lion head making, like many other traditional crafts, is on the decline. Even though lion head making tends to be a generational craft, more and more people are turning away from it.
Mấy người con của cô có nói theo nghiệp này không cô?
Có thằng trai nó làm nhưng mà nó cực quá, không chịu làm, nó làm cái nghề khác.
Even the younger artisans we interviewed seemed uncertain about the future of their craft.
Cái nghề này thì nó cũng giống như nó không còn mà được như trước nữa. Thì bây giờ là nó chỉ kiểu như là theo mùa, theo dịp thôi, giống như là dịp lễ như Trung thu, Tết rồi đó.
This uncertainty is shared by many more lion head makers all around the country. In the city that's best known for this craft, Hue City, in 2022 alone, 6 to 7 established workshops had to shut down. In such a small community of artisans, it was a massive blow to the trade as a whole. To stay with the craft requires the artisan to be committed and passionate with the trade. That's yet to mention how the artisan has to possess the artistic and technical skill needed to actually make the lion head. These difficulties make lion head making, already a job on the decline, extremely selective. Fortunately, it does seem like the younger artisans are rising to the occasion.
Mình cũng chưa biết định hướng của mình là có theo nghề này luôn hay không, nhưng mà nếu mà được thì nghề này cũng là một nét đẹp văn hóa. Thì nếu mà được thì mình sẽ gìn giữ.
For over a century, paper lanterns like these have appeared on street corners all around Vietnam without fail every September. But behind those pretty lanterns are a group of struggling artisans who are finding their trade slowly becoming forgotten in the 21st century. Join us as we step into the workshop of perhaps one of Vietnam's last true lantern masters, and discover how one man's unwavering dedication might just be the spark that reignites a dying art for generations to come. The craft of lantern making, like so many traditional arts in Vietnam, is at risk of disappearing. Our crew is fortunate enough to meet with one of Vietnam's finest lantern maker in the Ho Chi Minh City area. Mr Binh comes from a family of lantern makers. He's the second generation in the family to take up the little-known job.
Tiếp nối tới đời này là tôi đã làm được cái nghề này được trên 35 năm. Ba mình lúc đó là di cư vào đây. Đó, thì hồi xưa ông bà vô đây nguyên cái làng, thì ở đây nó có khoảng trên 100 hộ để làm.
The village's heyday was during the 1980s to 90s. Mr Binh still recalls those times with fondness. We were given exclusive access to his workshop where he and his workers are hard at work making new lanterns in preparation for the upcoming festivities. There were no machineries in his workshop. Every part of the lantern, from the shaping down to the painting of the beautiful motifs on each set, is done entirely by hands. This puts handcrafted lantern makers like Mr Binh at a clear disadvantage compared to companies that mass-produce lanterns. That, however, didn't daunt him. As our crew watch on with interests, Mr Binh demonstrated for us how a lantern is made from scratch. The materials for the lanterns are incredibly simple: wooden sticks, metal wires, and red cellophane paper. He showed us the pile of raw materials that he got gathered in his front yard and went about selecting the best ones for his demo. Mr Binh begins by constructing a frame from memory. He prunes sticks to size and ties them together, adding wire for detailed shapes like fishtails. Once the lantern structure has been completed, he and his workers would wrap it in red cellophane. When lit from the interior, the cellophane would make the lantern glow red, the color of fortune, happiness, and prosperity in Vietnamese traditional belief. Finally, skilled workers paint intricate details onto the lantern, bringing dragons, carps, and other designs to life. The finished product is then ready for sale. It may look simple, but Mr. Binh has spent decades mastering the skills needed to turn simple sticks and metal wires into lively lanterns. And the process itself is grueling and can take a lot of time. Despite all the hardships and the fact that the lanterns are handmade, Mr. Binh still sells his lanterns for quite cheap, between 20,000 to 30,000 Vietnam dong, or around $1. This, according to him, is barely enough to hire workers.
Cái nghề cha ông mình truyền lại cho mình như vậy, tại sao mình đi bỏ? Mình phải cố gắng giữ nó và tôi đã cố gắng phải làm được điều đó.
In the past, Vietnamese lit lanterns on many different special occasions, from weddings to mid-autumn celebrations. But as society changes, many of these beautiful lantern designs, as well as the way to make them, have faded from collective memories. So, teaming up with historians and researchers like Mr. Trinh Bach to pore over precious old documents and photos, he's working on a project to remake ancient Vietnamese lantern designs to try and rescue them from obscurity. Some of Mr. Binh and Mr. Bach's most famous restorative projects were of the legendary carp fish, which we were able to see the prototype for. Although the design has been around for centuries, it was only documented by Leon Busy in 1915. Another project is the crab. Similar to the carp, one of the first instances of this design ever being captured was in the early 20th century. The duo made two different versions for this design, one of a crab that's been boiled with reddish skin, and one that's still fresh with lively blue-toned carapace.
Có thể là mất 3 năm trời mới phục chế được một con, nhất là con cá, sau đó là tới con cua.
Because they have no reference lanterns, Mr. Binh has to build the frame entirely from scratch. Then, Mr. Bach would hand paint the patterning using the rare, oft monotone, and blurry documentary photos. Even then, as Mr. Bach explained, the painting technique was difficult even for masters like him. Fortunately, their labor of love was widely recognized not only by fellow Vietnamese, but enthusiasts overseas as well. Chief among them have been Australian clients, who commissioned Mr. Binh to build 3 notable projects for exhibition, including a pair of kangaroos, an emu bird, and a paper crocodile. Today, you can still visit Craft Village Phu Binh in Ho Chi Minh City and find many stalls selling handcraft lanterns, especially during the mid-autumn seasons of late August and early November. Speaking of what he hopes the future would hold, Mr. Binh shares a rather beautiful wish.
Nhưng mà mong muốn đó, năm nào mình cũng sẽ tổ chức cho các em tại khu phố của mình nữa, để mình nhớ lại những cái kỷ niệm ngày xưa của mình đó, của mình mà ông bà mình đã cho mình những cái đó. Thì bây giờ mình cũng mong muốn làm sao để cho các em biết những cái trung thu là của các em như thế nào. Và đến con phố này, cái con đường này thì tôi sẽ cố gắng tập hợp các em lại, phát lồng đèn cho các em tự đi chơi, tự rước đèn, tự chơi vậy đó, đi khắp xóm, khắp phường vậy thôi.
Although the heydays of either arts have long since passed, thanks to these incredibly committed and passionate craftspeople, both lantern making and lion head making are arts that'll stay for a while yet. Mr. Binh, the lantern maker, managed to share his skills with neighbors while finding success through international commissions and historical restoration projects. And in the world of lion head making, young enthusiasts working alongside artisans like Mrs. Kim An are embracing the craft's beauty and cultural significance. These incredible artisans have proven, through their tireless work, that there's still place for their ancient craft in the 21st century. The challenges are still there, but with passion, innovation, and respect for tradition, the magic of handcrafted lanterns and intricate lion heads will continue to light up Vietnam's Mid-Autumn Festival for decades to come.